Hi everyone, welcome to my channel in a glass of her own. I've named it this because my last name is Glass and it does feel as if I am in a class of my own at the minute. It's a really odd concept for teachers to be working from home. It feels quite strange. But I'm hoping through doing these videos I can reach out to some teachers, not just in my school, but potentially all over Scotland and the world really. We're all going through something that is quite strange and uncertain, and I'm hoping to use this as a method of reaching out and connecting. I really wanted to use this channel as a tool for us to share our experiences of using different G Suite apps. Today the video is more focusing on just Google Forms, but there are so many opportunities for us to really enhance our distant learning with Google. If you would like me to do any more videos on particular issues that you're having, so whether it be navigating Google Drive or making really cool resources on Google Docs, making them into hyperdocs, or if you want to spice up a spreadsheet, I'm here to give support. By all means get in touch, comment, please subscribe, that would be great. This video is really all about using Google Forms and making up a homework that actually marks itself. So it should make our lives a little bit easier. It means that we do not need to spend hours and hours marking, but this way that I have shown you marks everything itself, which is great. Okay, so the best place to start is in your Drive, and I'm going to go into the folder that I want to save my form in. So I'm going to go into this YouTube materials folder. It is quite good to keep your Drive organised. What I am going to do is go to the New button, and I'm going to look for forms. Now it won't always show up at the top here, so I'm going to go to More, and I'm going to go to open my Google Forms. Okay, so what it has brought us into is a blank form, but you can get templates which are already pre-made by Google. If you go into this little icon here, it gives you all the different templates that you can potentially get, as well as all your recent forms. So I'm just going to go back into making my form. You do have two different types of forms. One is more for collecting responses, such as surveys, so they're great for collecting like pupil voice or parental voice and gathering all the information in the one place. But we are hoping to make a quiz. So what we're going to go to is the little settings tool, and then we are going to go along to quizzes. And we are going to make this a quiz because we are wanting our homework to mark itself, and this is the best way to do that. What you also have is this little option here, which is turn on locked mode, which means that if respondents are taking this quiz, it means that they cannot open other tabs or applications to help them essentially answer the questions in the quiz. This only really works if they are doing it on a Chromebook, so if you are in a school that pupils are often using Chromebooks, then this might be an option for you to use if you're doing some sort of test. I personally have never used this function before, so I'm quite happy to just leave that unticked at the minute. I'm also just going to scroll down to these different options that we've got down here. So the first one here is immediately after each submission, the form would release a mark to the pupils, which is great if you've only got multiple choice questions or tick box questions. However, I'm going to make it this option here, which means that I will have to manually review it because I'm going to put in a question that pupils will be expected just to type in a couple of different responses, and I need to make sure that I review it before the marks are released. The other options that we have here is that we can highlight to respondents that any missed questions, the correct answers, and the point value. Alright, so once I'm happy with that, I'm going to save, and it changes the layout that we have here. Okay, another little thing that is worth mentioning when I go back into the general settings, this at the minute is set up to collect all the email addresses of the respondents. I'm not too fussed about doing that if I'm just giving it out as a class homework. I'm not too bothered about collecting their email addresses, but it would be worth doing that if you thought that you might need to get in contact with people. It also gives you restrictions of who can actually access this quiz. At the minute, this is restricted to users only within my council and its trusted organisations, but I'm quite happy to remove that for just now, and I'm just going to save that. So I'm going to pop in a heading here, so I've already got some headings saved and all the materials that I want to go in saved in this other form, and I'm going to paste this in. A little trick that you can do is when you have typed in some sort of title, instead of retyping it again for the file name, Google have helped us out a little bit and just making things so much more easier. If we hover over this and just click, it automatically understands that this is what we want our heading to be, so it's a great little tip. I'm now going to add in the form description. I'm actually going to add in a link as well for my pupils, and this is a link to a slides presentation that I would like them to look over before they start answering the questions. Now at the minute it doesn't recognise it as a hyperlink, however if I go up to the little preview button, which is the little eye at the top here, it shows us how respondents would actually see this form, and you can see that it has become a hyperlink. If I click on that, it does take me to the particular slideshow that I want them to look at, so nice and easy. So going back to the form, so I can close this down, I'm going to start now adding in some questions. So when I go to the next question, we have got lots of different options here which I will go over to show you what you can actually do, and I am going to start my first question. So the first question is, what does PPE stand for? And I am actually going to change it to a short answer because I want pupils to type this in. Now, in order for us to be able to get this quiz marking for itself, we need to put in the answer. So we're going to flick across to our answer key, and we are going to put in an answer for the pupils. What I would say is just be wary of this type of question. If a pupil puts in a slight typo or a spelling mistake and it doesn't completely match up with what you have written as your correct answer, they will get it incorrect. So just be wary of that you might need to go back and manually change those marks. What I'm going to do is also add in another option without capitals, as pupils might also pop that as an answer. I'm going to check that I'm happy with the amount of points that has been assigned to this question. Obviously you can change that, and when you're happy with that, I'm going to press done. So that is your first question, and you can see that it's put in the different correct answers that Google would accept for that. What I'm also going to do is make this a required answer, so it means that pupils need to answer it in order to move on. Now what I'm going to do is add another question, and I'm just going to click at the top here and it automatically puts a different question. So my next question is, select 3 examples of PPE. So what you will see happens is when I pop in that question, Google automatically recognises check boxes because of the type of wording that I have popped in the question here. If you wanted to change that, of course you do have all the different options of multiple choice or drop down, but I'm quite happy with the check boxes. So I'm going to add in these different options. Okay, now that I've added in all the different options, I now again need to switch to my answer key and select the correct ones, and I'm going to change it to 3 points because I've asked them to select 3 examples, and then I'm going to tick the ones which are correct and then press done when I'm happy. And again, it shows this is just the view that teachers see before submitting it to pupils, but we can see that we've got the 3 correct answers at the side here. Now, before we move on to the next questions, I'm going to just talk you through a few of the different options that we've got down the side here. So obviously we have used the add question function. You can also import questions from previous forms that you have done, or maybe it's previous forms that your colleagues have done, and you can import those just to make life a little bit easier for yourself, which I will be using in a second or two. You can also add another title and description, just like the one at the top of the form. You can add an image. This is very useful, particularly for myself as a design and engineering teacher. I often need pupils to identify the correct names of tools, so a lot of time I use that to add a picture of a tool and get them to name it. You can also add in videos. You can show the video, and then you could perhaps get pupils to reflect on what they've watched in the video. So again, another useful tool. And you could also add in a new section, which if I just show you, it creates a new kind of heading and section for a different set of questions. So you can do that as well, but we are not needing that, so I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to go back to the import question function, and I'm actually going to import the rest of the questions that I have already done. So I'm going to click here, and I am going to select the form that I want to import from. And you can see down the side here we have got all the different questions. Now you can see this is the exact same form that I'm doing in this video, so it's a kind of Blue Peter moment of bringing out something that I've done earlier, as it were. So I'm going to find the questions that I want to now bring in, so I'm going to select all of these remaining questions and import them. And you can see all of these questions have now been imported. And again, you can see the little stars are next to them, which means they are required questions. And if you click on it, you can see that it has been required. What I now want to highlight to you is the function of being able to give feedback to pupils. If we look at this question here, it's asking what safety checks should be carried out before switching on the pillar drill. This is a common question for pupils to answer incorrectly, purely because they do not read the question properly. It is asking before switching on the pillar drill, and a lot of pupils miss this out. So I have already seen that this could potentially be an issue. So I'm going to go to my answer key. And what I have done is I have selected the correct answers, but I've also put in a little bit of feedback for incorrect answers, and just highlighting to the pupils that they need to make sure that they read the question, and reiterating that the question is asking before the machine is switched on. So if you do want to do something like that, in your answer key you can select the answer feedback tool, and here what you have is options for the incorrect answers and the correct answers. So usually you're wanting to give the feedback for the incorrect answers, and what you can do is add in a link to, say, a slideshow or a document which goes over the correct answers again, or you could link in a video that again revises what they have maybe missed and led them to answer incorrectly. And obviously you can type in personalised feedback as well. So I'm just going to leave that one for just now. So now that you are happy with all of your questions and you're quite happy with the order of them, we can actually start making it look a little bit nicer as well. If we go to the little preview eye, you will see what this form will look like to your pupils once you assign it to them. So at the minute this is just the kind of classic look, but what we can do if we go back into our customized theme, it gives us options to change the header. We could put like a personalised image in it, we can change the theme colour, the background colour. You've got lots of different options of different fonts as well. And again, you can choose an image. You can either choose some of the suggested ones, or you can upload your own. So let's go for some jelly beans just to keep it interesting. And what you see now is it has automatically changed the colours again just to fit in with our image that we've uploaded. So I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to close that. Before I do anything else, I'm going to just give it a double check. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So now is your opportunity to start sending it final check to see who can actually access this. So whether it requires a sign-in, whether you want to change if they can only respond once, or whether they can edit, things like that. If you're wanting to do any of that, I suggest you do it now. The good thing about forms is even after you have sent it to people to fill in, you can still go back in and edit your form. So if you do notice a slight mistake in something or it doesn't quite work, you can go back in and edit, which is the great thing about forms. Go up to the send button. And what you can do is you can either email it to people, or you can click this little button here, which gives you a shareable link to share with people so that they can start filling it in. Or you've also got your embed link for putting in sites and things like that. But we are going to focus on taking this link and putting it into a Google Classroom, and we are going to copy that, alright, and then we're going to use that into a Google Classroom. Okay, now that I have copied the link, I'm now going to open up my Google Classroom and share that link with my pupils. I'm going to go to my Google Apps, open up Classroom. I've already started a class, particularly for this video. This is my stream. It is empty at the moment because it's a brand new class. I'm going to go up to my classwork and I'm going to create an assignment. You will notice there is a quiz assignment here. We have already created our form, so I'm not going to bother with that because I just want to attach the form that we have just done. So I'm going to go to assignment. I'm going to just name it as homework 1 and just give them a brief description. So I'm going to make it out of 12 points and I'm making it for all students. I'm just leaving the due date and the topic at the minute. I'm just making it as simple as possible. I'm going to then go to add, and I'm going to, in this case, add a link. Okay, I'm not adding a file or the form from a drive because I'm wanting it in the form of them being able to answer the questions, not edit the questions. So I'm going to add the link, and I'm just going to paste in the link that I took from the form, and you will see that it's automatically recognised that is, and you get a little slight preview of it. So when I'm happy with that, I can then just assign it to my pupils. Now that I have assigned this form in my Google Classroom, I will now start seeing responses come in. Obviously, no one has responded to this yet, so I don't have any sort of data. However, what I am going to show you is an example that I've already done with one of my classes. This again was a different homework, and you can see that I have had 11 responses from the pupils in my class. So what I can do is flick to the responses, and what we've got is 3 options here. The first one is a summary of all the different questions. The second is a question by question response, and the individual brings up the individual pupils and how they responded. So I'm going to look at the summary overall and see what points were scored on different questions. Google will automatically put in graphs to represent the data that has came in, so sometimes it's pie charts, sometimes it's bar graphs, to make it most readable. If I scroll down to this section here, which is quite interesting from a teacher's point of view, is frequently missed questions, and you can see there's quite a lot of the same. This can be really useful for teachers, particularly if you start to recognise that there's a particular area that hasn't been done particularly well. You can then recap it in class time. So in this particular occasion, when I handed out this homework, I noticed that a lot of pupils were not feeling very confident about identifying leaf tools, so we went back over it in class. So it's a really good reflective tool to use. Scrolling down, you just start seeing all the different responses that pupils gave for the different questions, and it is a good way to just sum up everything all in the one place. What you can also do is use the information that you have gathered and all the responses and put it into a Google Sheets form. You can click this little button here which takes you into a Google Sheets. For my one, if I were to click onto this, you have the option of either to create a new spreadsheet or to pop it into an existing spreadsheet that you have already created. So that might be quite useful if you're trying to gather lots of information over the year about how pupils are performing. It's just another tool that teachers can use to analyse the learning of their pupils. I'm just going to close that down. Just to give you a show of what it might look like, if I click on this one, I've already created up a sheet for this particular form, and this just kind of shows you the layout of it. It does look a bit messy, but you can edit the sheet obviously just to tidy it up a little bit. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. All you need to do now is wait for the responses to come in, but you do not need to mark, which is great. Google Form will do it all for you, and you should hopefully get some marks coming in for your pupils. As I said at the start of the video, Google has so many options for making teachers' lives that little bit easier. So if you've got any ideas or you want me to go over anything on any of my future videos, please do comment below or subscribe or get in touch. It would be great to hear from you. Bye.